point of contention for both these teams.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of contention around vision this game as well, thanks to the earlier Sightstone than we're used to seeing from Ignar. But Flash Wolves has done a good job of clearing it out. So there's more wards in the game. They've also cleared more wards than any team has in the first 15 minutes at group stage. As we mentioned, Karsa finding so many with control wards. Now they're looking to make it engage.
Whoa. Almost hits him, got the buffer W. Still misses the cast. Flash in from Maxlore, but this means pressure on the top side. We see Karsa rotating just off the side of Power of Evil, but it doesn't look like Misfits will fully commit.
That turret is so low, so the upside of that gank was very high from Maxlore, but if you time that rocket jump properly on a body slam flash and predict everything perfectly, you can get away. There, Betty actually timed it in a way that would jump away from the flash body slam, so really impressive jump away there by Betty.
Exactly that. The ultimate not quite in time from Maxlore. Now he doesn't have his flash. One of the initiation tools is unavailable for Maxlore, but TPs are coming up. Flash Wolves want to try and take this tower down before Misfits can find some kind of answer.
Doesn't look like they're going to find too much pressure. Bot lane being farmed out from Alfari. Those teleports are down on the side of Misfits. That doesn't mean MMD is going to come in for a fight here. Hits onto Ignar, Sword Art's back, tries to get the charm down, is now Hansama delivering the damage in. MMD does put himself up to the top side, and now Alfari gets the push in the bot lane. We'll have to get that teleport back if Flash Wolves want to stop it.
And that's just a big misplay there from Sword Art, not respecting Ignar enough to just walk away when the minions were still alive. He ends up getting hooked up. He forces a flash from Caster. He has to use his own heal. MMD is forced to ulti, and this means that Flash Wolves now lose a lot of pressure, even though they're still looking to try and take this top tier one.
Yeah, it's a bunch burned, and you wonder who's going to get the payoff at the end of it. MMD does have that second global in the teleport, so he's going to be able to match that big minion wave. And they did force the supports back to lane, so in a way they're still trying to keep this pressure up, really wanting to get that turret. It's just so difficult for them to do.
You can see the patience they had kind of going into this replay. Said, don't aggress too much from Hansama Ignar. Let me be the first. Still fast fingers from Betty, and he gets himself out safely. They know what to do next time. Just wait for that jump and try to make the play after, possibly. It's always hard, though. You see a lot of Triss getting out. Who do you go for first?
Looking at some of the extra items that have been picked up as well, Ignar now sitting on Moby Boots. We talked in draft about how he, as an individual, is that playmaker. He earned a lot of respect in the European LCS for his Thresh performances and his ability to land great hooks. He's now bringing it out in the World's Group stages, and he's going to stick to his playstyle of trying to find those opportunities.
And these are both supports that kind of make their mark by being playmakers. Sword Art as well played Blitzcrank in the LMS final. But this is a situation where, because of the priority in the draft phase, like, both guys want to be playmakers, but because Flash Wolves picked the playmaker that is much stronger in the meta, it's just a better pick in a lot of ways. Like, we're talking make the engage as the Thresh can make, and Ignar has to outplay to that next level if he wants to get the same value out of the Thresh that Sword Art can get out of the
Coming up on 20 minutes, 15 seconds for that Baron. See about 630 stacks to 530 on the tiers of the mid laners. So getting very close to that Zera's Embrace and a little bit of power for themselves. Still one kill on the map for both teams. They've been working around each other to get these objectives and structures. But most of that objective control right now. Flash Wolves with the Dragon and the Heralds over to Misfits. Out sector.
how much topside control around Baron matters against the Cassiopeia. Both these teams have actually struggled a bit with Baron control. Misfits had 2 Barons taken away in their win against TSM. Misfits also needs to be able to control Baron in order to close games, but for now, not that big of a threat as they take Drake and have time to reset.
Forward pink ward for Flash Walls behind red, possibly making a play later as they deliver damage over to Ignar. Still very squishy. Sightstone start build. Caliston and Ascension just finished with more of that mobility play if he wants to speed up the team. They have a Righteous Glory behind Nat for Cho'Gath or Alfari to get right into the fight. They're going to try something mid.
Yeah, oh, they get Ben kind of cleared away though. Another ultimate down for Maxlore.
May have been an ultimate from Maxlore into a Petrifying Gaze. Kind of would have pretty sweet. You don't really have that time to turn.
We're now looking at Flash Wolves starting to split up the map. With both towers on the top and bot, making the move on to the side lane. That much vision around the top side, so he's not going to be able to do that much. But after seeing 5 members mid, he feels relatively safe for the time being. Whereas Misfits, they're going to be forced to answer. Cassio off on the side lane is fine, but it's going to take so much longer for the champion to join the team should a fight happen to break out compared to Alliance.
The ward wars in this game. I mean, Flash Wolves actually had to buy quite a few pink wards early just to get past these sight stones, get past being able to clear everything out. So I wonder what the items would actually look like if they hadn't spent hundreds on that. But Misfits doing a great job at keeping that vision up, causing Flash Wolves to have to spend a little extra gold there. So you see the items Infinity Edge almost being finished up for Betty. Be a big item spike for him. Both teams are really okay with just kind of allowing their mid laners to farm right now and let each other build up.
So we haven't actually seen a huge amount of action in the early game. We talked about how Maxor, his jungle proximity has been improving from game to game and how he's much more involved in the early game. And while he's made a few gank attempts in this game, his involvement has not been that high. And the same can be said for Kasi. He tried to make a few plays himself, but the focus of both teams not really been trying to snowball, which means that we're going to be looking once again another one of those games where big fights are going to be the big determiner. And what you can say about Flash Wolves is they are still pretty good team fights.
Yeah, and
you can't tame them.
How squishy is Karsa going to be in these fights? Because he did go with Warrior Jarvan. He's going Black Cleaver second. He's going to have to try and burst someone down. He's not going to be that big Cinderhawk tank at the end of it, which also lets me kind of know the Flash Wolves want to get going fairly soon.
One of my favorite type of positionings, up and down on that mid lane. It means somebody is getting in a fight, and Maxlore finds himself off on the side, going down alone.
Great pick there from Maple, utilizing the simple ward that was over the wall to lock Maxwell up, allow the follow-up from Sword Art, and get Flash Wolves their second kill of the game.
That just makes them lose control over Baron that they had worked pretty hard to get. I wonder if Flash Wolves will keep passing up through the river and getting full control, or if they're going to try and work around mid lane as a higher priority, because they will spot these breadcrumbs of control wards all the way up if they walk that way.
Yep, getting all that vision. Maple will be able to cleanly and safely farm out this top lane as long as it's not cleared too fast by Misfits. But Flash Wolves grab a little bit of Baron posture as well as that control from Maple here. Get more farm under his belt. Little moves, but ever so slowly as Flash Wolves finding that ground. So we wondered if they would.
Yeah, I think so much of this game is going to revolve around Baron. And also the second Infernal Drake, because that has some pretty big late game implications as far as who will outscale. Because even though compositionally having the late game Trist would probably be better than Zaya, especially with the added attack speed from the Ardent Sensor that Ignar can't apply to Hansama, but you still got to play well. Like, you still have to be able to execute, not get hit by Cho'Gath Ruptures, not get knocked back by Maxlord, not get killed by Power Level. There's so many things that 80 carries are tested on here at the World
Easier
Championship.
said than done.
And if you don't have that top tier 80 carry, you do not succeed at this Worlds.
And Hansama, he definitely showed what he was capable of in that game versus TSM. He went deathless in that match, and he has the comfort pick of Zaya once more. But we talked a little bit about the Baron and how it's going to be so pivotal. Misfits as a team have praised themselves for how well they play around the Baron, how well they use that objective, and it was a big part of their win against TSM once they reached the later stages. But look at this Baron taking Team Cassio, Cho'Gath, Zaya in the late game with 3 items. They will crush that extremely quickly as well, and Flash Wolves, one misstep, one bad ward could result in a very quick objective going in the field.
Looking at items again, Adaptive Helm on the side of MMD. Warmock's finished up onto Alfari before he gets that stone plate. He is going to be gigantic already. He's already got a few stacks under his belt. None just yet on champions, 2 minions, and the 1 epic monster for himself.
Cassio shows top. This is probably mid-turf for Flash Wolves.
Go for a moment, shots from Betty, they take it down. Easily control or walk up into that top side of the jungle to make sure it's theirs.
You may ask, like, why did Power of Evil show top when they could have been defending mid? But that was the payoff from a long set of plays. All started from the kill on Maxor, because that got them top lane river control. That allowed them to push both side lanes with Shen and Rise. And if Misfits only then defended mid with 5 people, they would be giving up so much overall experience. So they were matching the waves in the side. That's how Flash Wolves bought that 5 seconds of time in the mid lane.
Awesome initiation. Hansama right in the middle of it, instantly deleted by Maple. They're playing the bushwhack game, and they found Misfits wandering around in the jungle. This is where Flash Wolves catapult themselves in the lead, and they're going for Baron.
And now the jungler is dead for Misfits. There is no smite available. Misfits' best hope is for an Alfari steal, and they're not going to go for it.
That was the extension of that cycle as well. When you get mid lane priority for killing the turret, when you don't have vision in the river. Also, Misfits was just lulled because these are the only 4 kills that Flash Wolves has against them in the entire group stage. They didn't even kill him that one time before they played, so they make the exact right play, killing the jungler and the carry.
Black Cleaver finished up. A few more things. Warden's Mail for MMD. Flash Wolves are now going to able to start to itemize a little bit better. Hopefully get those fights, because the long fights seem like they will play out in favor of Misfits with the amount of tank they have, the amount of ability of that front line. Quick hits in and out seem to be Flash Wolves' goal right now, and they'll get another dragon because of it.
Remember what this means for Flash Wolves. They need to win all 3 of their games today, and they're off to a good start. No vision in the river for Misfits. They end up getting punished.
And it's Sword Art making that play from Fog of War, the lead on the initiation into the Jarvan combo with the Shen ultimate to make it so he is untouchable. Very nearly get that 3rd kill as well as Ignar escaped with a swing.
Into Baron, which means Flash Wolves have even more control over the map. This makes Maple strong for the top lane, and they can start to work off the ball on that, figuring out where else they would like to fight Misfits. Whoa, Misfits has your own medicine? Almost works.
The same play doesn't work, though, when there's nothing to gain by going there. There's no Baron to pull them into the river.
Great point.
Flash Wolves showed the respect that they played towards the lanes. The 1-3-1 can now be properly set up with the Baron buff. But we've seen Flash Wolves in this position before. We know they know how to get these leads, but can they close out the game? Because so far through groups, that has been their biggest issue.
Karsa, protection. They actually have a line of protection. It's not just Maple and Karsa. It's also slow rotation from Sword Art. Betty can be there in the field as well. These guys are in freeze and crowd motion. They're never letting each other too far away. Maple's ready to push this one in. Power of Evil getting pressured as the bot lane face-to-face teleports down for MMD, and he's waiting on that stand united. A lot of damage from Power of Evil could push him off the turret as it goes down below half. With Flash Wolves in and out again, not committing to anything.
Moving in between lanes, catching Misfits and recall patterns. They got enough poke right there, so that's 80% of the top lane turret and all of the mid lane turret.
So methodical right now by Flash Wolf, not creating too much. 3 turrets across the board. You hardly ever see 1, 2, 3 of the second tier turrets fall like that.
And this is when a 1-3-1 works with Baron buff. If the other team can't engage on your 3, they have Ryze and Shen spread. Cassio is spread as well. It is on Ignar and Maxlor to actually force the right kind of fight, which they have not been able to do all game long.
And remember, in the draft, Misfits made the decision. We will give up the Rakan by going for the early Xayah. We think we can win this 2 versus 2. We think we can get advantages in the bottom lane. Misfits failed to do so. They have not been able to execute, and now it's Sword Art that has found those great plays and have put Flash Wolves in this position to potentially get their first win of World.
Oh, very dangerous situation for a dead Maple. He goes down immediately, and the pressure breaks now for Flash Wolves.
That's how you try and stop the 1-3-1. You have to kill at least one side of it with everyone. They lose a turret is the cost of it, but it will stall the push.
I mean, Flash Wolves can be pretty happy, though, because they got 4 towers in exchange for 1 death. Maple's even 3-1, so he's still pretty strong. He's like, okay, I lost some Dark Seal stacks, but that's not the end of the world here. He used his cleanse, he still has his flash. Misfits get a small thing back, but his Flash Wolves still in control.
And this is what Flash Wolves need to see in a do-or-die situation. They're done after this if they lose. This is also what they need to show the other teams in their group to strike a little fear in the hearts of those teams. Be that little mistake with Maple, great control over the game, and it's hard to end it.
Yeah, so as much as we talk about the other team on the group ball winning 2-1, it's very low Flash Wolves that could decide to advance it based on who they can. This play one more time, it was just a good miasma, while Maxlor and Ignar were waiting for more to get that kill. If that happens before the other 3 turrets go down, it becomes a kill for a turret, which is a much more acceptable trade, but that was the 4th turret Flash Wolves got during that Baron power play.
Flash Wolves now depleting resources in the jungle, able to basically live on the side of Misfits for the time being. And with 3 Infernal Drakes spawning, they may be able to get that 3rd one. We won't see any more on the map. Flash Wolves have had great objective control. losing only the red. Really hasn't given them
Misfits doing their best right now to reclaim some of the vision, but their entire jungle pretty much belongs to Flash Wars. Every time Misfits moves up, it ends up getting cleared out. And Flash Wars are forcing Misfits into darkness. Ignar yet to demonstrate his proficiency on the champion. We've really seen nothing from him aside from some of the top lane shenanigans he was able to make happen. Misfits in a very dire situation, 2 to 40 kills, heavily behind Ignar.
That Talisman of Ascension, still a possibility if Flash Wolves misstep one more time. We saw it used there on Maple for a moment. See the discrepancies there. 1,600 originally spent by Maple as they've had that 1-3-1, a lot of solo gold in the side lane, just about 1.5 thousand gold up over Power of Evil at this point.
Yeah, as far as stalling is concerned, it is relatively difficult to dive on top of Cassiopeia, but the struggle and where this game could end up being finally decided is with this Infernal and Baron buff being up in 1 minute, respectively, because if Flash Wolves controls both, that would be a triple Infernal with a Baron buff in a 1-3-1 scenario, which makes it extremely hard for Misfits to counter all of those things at once, and Flash Wolves has the control that they can probably pull that off. It's all on Ignar and Maxlor to find those initiations when Flash Wolves are trying to make the setup for these plays happen.
Yeah, already the hot side of the jungle looking like a light bright for Flash Wolves. Everywhere is warded, and only one cleared out because they replaced their own pink ward towards the top side of the map. That dragon coming up in 20 seconds, and they're still able to hover top side and save. 30 for Baron just left.
One of the fun stats that we had for Misfits last week was that if they were ever in a deficit during the regular season of the ULCS, they had a 3-win, 11-loss record. This is a team that is not very good at playing from behind. They're now in a situation where they are pretty far behind, and we'll have to see if their growth has been enough to be able to find a pretty significant comeback.
Yeah, but with the current game state, Flash Wolves are large favorites. This is the game that they should close out. And remember, Flash Wolves is in a position where they must go 3-0 today. So this is the type of start you would like to see. We had questions about their draft. They're picking the meta champions just like this, and they're executing pretty well.
And they have 3 Infernal Drakes now. That bush is blind. Alfari going to be the one to face check.
Yeah, they're also trying to prep the waves for this Baron, so they've given up a lot of Baron control, which is rather dangerous. Not only do they not have Baron control, they don't have mid lane priority right now, so a little bit dicey this prep by Flash Wolves.
You can tell how much Power of Evil wants this fight. Sorcery of Elixir already popped as soon as they were going up towards that mid turret. They want to be able to use this extra damage.
Yeah, and with the far side totem used, Misfits can see they don't have anything left. Misfits could actually have started the Baron and could try to burst it down. They do not. It's scouted with the flag. Flash Wolves know it's safe.
Look at Shen though. MMD still pushing in the bottom lane. Misfits, they're going to be forced to make a move, and here they go.
He has that Titanic. He's going to be able to crush down a bit of damage. Backs off the wave so he can
Flash Wolves has to fight
Karsa over the wall. 14 to 14 in smite, but it is about that feast, and it goes to Alfari. The fight ensues, and Ignar and everyone heading towards the top side for Sword Art. Alfari just taking everything in the middle as Karsa has already fallen, and they're looking for more crowd control on the side of Flash Wolves, but are now running away from Misfits. 5 strong into the into the blue area, as now Misfits heads out with Baron.
It's exactly what Misfits have to do, but it's also what Flash Wolves needed to respect. Don't prep that way for so long. You're against the Cassio Cho'Gath. This has always been a possibility in this game.
Yep.
Great shot calling by Misfits to force it, and they're absolutely back in this game.
And we were talking about how Misfits, they know how to play around this Baron. It's how they were able to beat TSM. They've been able to secure it. A lot of gold comes back into their pockets. They've been able to get 2 mid towers down, and Flash Wolves. Is this the same issues that plagued them last week? Are they failing to close out once again by not respecting the collapse of Misfits?
The fact that they didn't go now, like 2 seconds before now, when Baron is 1700, the Smite Feast actually changed by the Gragas and the Cho'Gath. A 1700 health burst, the best we've really seen in Team World.
And so much praise for Alfari just sitting on the front line and forcing Benny and Maple out of the fight. That allowed Power of Evil to flash out of the pit, put himself in a good position, and just start dishing out the damage. They were able to shut down Karsa, but the goal is still in the favor of Flash. What Misfits have done is equalize, but they'll never go back.
There was also a disgusting miasma from Power of Evil and made Sword Art have to reach, have to flash. His ult was basically useless by the time he did get into the fight. So many good things happening there, and as we said, would Flash Wolves crumble under that pressure?
Yeah, because you have to ask, why are you not taking Baron control with your triple Infernal Drake?
Yes.
Why are you letting yourself be put in a position where you can be pushed around like that? Now they're trying to fight a team with Baron.
Max Lure misses out on that. Hook misses, but the Flays are in. MSF following up with that crowd control as they keep going through. Alfari looking for a few more hits with that Righteous Glory on, but cannot get the movement speed into the ramp.
flash on
Slow
Maple.
effect. Ignar just on the outside. What's the hook? Just misses the Battle Dance of Sword Art.
But now Misfits, they're just zoning as many members of Flash Wolves away as they siege onto this base turret.
Turret, does MMD try and engage? He'd have to go. Doesn't even have flash.
Arsa looking from the side. Shots onto Max Lore. Hits onto Ignar now. They know where the HP is low, but Sword Art dies immediately. 45 seconds on the clock for Misfits to stay.
Alfari had a perfectly timed silence onto Sword Art there for that initiation.
An entire game in their favor up until now. Like we said, Flash Wolves do or die. So each moment that Misfits in their base is just beads of sweat on Flash Wolves' forehead. They have to wipe it off. They have to brush off all of these problems and push back even harder. Sword Art in 20 seconds, and Misfits is making quick work of Flash Wolf's side of the map.
Rightly identified there, Riv. Sword Art's still dead. Misfits still have the Baron. They have 5 members. They could be looking for their second inhibitor of the game.
But Flash Wolves can't engage right now. Their engage is dead. MMD has no flash. Karsa has built Squishy. So if anyone goes in, it would just be a lost fight. They have to concede the second inhibitor, and now Misfits has reached even gold with Flash Wolves. 37 minutes, 30 seconds in, when they were on the brink of losing the game.
Flash Wolves with 3 Infernal Drakes, an exposed inhibitor in the middle lane. They were playing the 1-through-1 beautifully, and now the teams that are on the back foot.
And watching this one more time, Sword Art is trying to make this Hook is down, but he just can't make it in. With his quickness, he gets silenced, he's on a miasma, like, you can't go straight forward into Casio Joe. You have to find a flanking angle. Sword Art does not do it for the second fight in a row.
It seems like there's a few things that can do that. You see the Jarvan picked up, and then the Rakan, you think one's going to teach for the other. Sword Art kind of going in thinking he would be the first. Misfits is ready for this, and an almost 6,000 gold power play, as you said, chat, brings them almost back to even. That 700 gold difference this far in basically means nothing. Top turret's gonna go down. They'll get that anyways here as they push on to the final inhibitor. Sub 40 minutes here, just after being on their own side of the map for the majority of the game.
Yeah, and Betty has to be more effective in these fights, plain and simple. He has the 4 crit items already finished up. He has the QSS and he has the Ardent Sensor support, but he hasn't been able to get Alfari down. He has to respect so much the engage of Max Lower and the rest of the Misfits team, and they're really not able to threaten that front line in a substantial way right now.
Now Misfits, they realize they don't want to commit to the top tower. They'd much rather take away the Elder Drake. In the event that they lose a fight and Flash Wolves get that Elder Drake away from them, then Misfits are the ones in this dire situation. So instead, they move towards it, they set a vision. Now they're looking for a pick, but Flash Wolves should be able to see them.
Can they walk away? At this point, with the 2 inhibs down, Misfits need to just wait this one out before they can get the Elder.
Look at the bottom wave. Someone from Flash Wolves has to go and answer it. Misfits, they can start off this objective. They're in the same situation, but look at how the gold has swung now back in the favor of Misfits. Bring it even.
With that miasma down, if Flash Wolves wanted to go, this would be their opportunity. Watch for Sword Art with the Shen ult. He gets hooked though.
Gotta be careful. He goes down immediately. Sword Art still doesn't get the quickness in. It's gonna be Karsa trying to stop Misfits from getting into that fight, but they are still going. MMD is trying to clear out what he can on that bot side, so Misfits can't push in, but it is inevitable at this point.
It is Misfits that are always getting the fights on their turf. We're not seeing the engages from Sword Art anymore. We're not seeing the Shen ulti onto Karsa anymore. And now Flash Wolves with their support dead. And Misfits with a great flash.
Oh, played on the rocket jump. That's what he's been looking to do all game. Ignar coming out with the fresh pick. That's 3 down for Misfits. Or I'm sorry, for Flash Wolves as Misfits try to close the door. 8-4, 40 minutes in. Maple looking to run out of the base. He says walk this way, but Misfits doesn't even have to worry about it. The Nexus turrets are falling, and so are Flash Wolves' hope. As Misfits close the door on the Flash Wolves World's run. The quickness once again in from Sword Art. The double kill for Power of Evil. And Misfits take down Flash Wolves.
So far behind in the mid game was Misfits, but they have the shot calling and the playmaking when it mattered most. Power and Evil and Ignar stuffed Sword Art again and again. A combination of miasmas and death sentences, and they just destroyed Flash Wolves in team fight after team fight to end that game.
And we talked about this Baron taking power of Misfits, combined with the ability that Misfits have of just playing around the Baron. It all comes together. They secure that objective and they ride that momentum to victory. They do not slow down, and they never give Flash Wolves an opportunity to set the fights up the way they want them.
Yeah, the story continues for Misfits right here.
Yep.
Going up against an 0-3 team right here, wanting to start the day off on the right foot. It didn't seem like it was there when they opt out of Ardent Sensor bottom lane, when they lose the Baron, when they lose their middle inhibitor turret. But they persevere once again. That moves them to 3-1. It eliminates Flash Wolves, but it also showed us that Flash Wolves is capable of getting leads on people. They just haven't been able to finish. So they're still going to be a threat to the other teams, and it's a threat that Misfits has survived, moving to 3-1.
And now you think of the pressure that that puts on WE and TSM, because the winner of that matchup will join Misfits at 3-1, but then a team falls behind at 2-2, and this group just gets all the more dynamic.
So for Misfits as well, continuing a bit of that win streak. They do have a few games to wait now as they play into that 4th game of the day, so hopefully they can keep this momentum going. But like you guys said, Flash Wolves can now mix up this group, and whether they won there or not, I'm sure the teams are sweating a little bit more.
I mean, Flash Wolves has got to be devastated after that one. They knew they had to come in and be perfect today. They're not. They're out.
But it's just so disappointing that the same issues plague them. Their inability to close out just seems to be something that the Flash Wolves just can't overcome.
Well, we'll get a little bit more insight on that one as Misfits Gaming take the win. We'll check in with Dash in the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Riv. Misfits, man, they muscled a victory out of that one as the Flash Wolves, unfortunately, their journey ends here in terms of their hope for the quarterfinals.
The Flash Wolves permanently friend-zoned, really. They get the advantage every single time, but they just can never close. They have an inability to seal the deal. Just for some reason, this team did not put it together. You have Shen, you have the Stand United, you have Orion, you have Global in the bot side. And on top of that, the Misfits opted out of an Ardent Sensor support. That should be an even easier indication. Just dive this bot lane 24/7. Never happened.
So Ardent Sensor support is one thing, and that's a huge advantage, you know, in the meta right now, simply because if you look at the stats on this item, the amount of combat effectiveness, the gold value that you get from it is obscene. However, what's more than gold value of some stats is playmaking, right? If you cannot pull off the initiation, even when you're ahead, if you can't utilize your Fog of War advantage, if you can't utilize your map advantage, like there's so many things where Sword Art got stuffed maybe 7 times in this entire game here with a lot of the initiations, and Ignar on the Thresh was landing quite a few hooks. You can make up gold value differences with big plays.
And the thing about Rakan, I was talking to Fishio about this earlier, and he was explaining that Rakan actually doesn't get to use the Ardent Sensor at the beginning of a lot of fights, because he's usually engaging the fights, and then he shields out, and that's when the Ardent Sensor will really take effect. So if he's immediately just blowing up, there's actually a lot of instances where it's not Ardent Sensor versus non-Ardent Sensor. It's, there goes the Rakan, he didn't get it off, and now it's just 80 carry versus 80 carry.
So while I think that the Thresh has a lot of value here, especially against what the Flash Wolves drafted, you good against Jarvan, good against Shen, good against Tristana, Rakan as well. I think it's a little bit too hipster to work against TSM and WE, so this is a time they can take this pick, feel confident in it, but I don't think this Thresh is going to work again, especially when we see how the Misfits won base on Flash Wolves mistake.
But to Kobe's point, I want to use our first replay to kind of illustrate that. 13 minutes around the Rift Herald. We see a misfire from the Flash Wolves.
They're doing Rift Herald. Here comes the Rise Ultimate. Teleports behind you. Nothing personal, kid. And immediately, like, how is this going to work? You're teleporting into Cassiopeia 100 times out of 100.
We all had real-life question mark pings going down on the analyst desk after this one. It did not seem like even the Flash Wolves themselves were all on board with that. Sword Art, the Rakan, the Initiator, was the ones to note out of the Rise Ultimate. They placed the Rise Ultimate, and it seems all turned towards Cassiopeia. So they're on Miasma. They all 3 of them get like stunned up, and there are just so many things where that was a moment where they had this lead, and it was the reason why people do not have a lot of faith in Flash Wolves as the game goes on.
Right, 1K lead with an Infernal Drake. At one point, they end up with 3 Infernals, so still very much in a position to win the game, utilizing those, globals as you talked about. But we've got to jump ahead to that 34-minute Baron call by the Misfits, because ultimately it is what won them the game. And this replay will be brought to you by Acer Predator.
And the thing is even though they don't have an Ardent Sensor, by opting into the Thresh, getting that playmaking support, they still have an incredible Baron burning composition. They've got the Cassiopeia, they have the Cho'Gath, and so it just makes it such an easy and decisive call. Because the thing is while Flash Wolves are continuously trying to 5v5 just fight Misfits, they could also just play the side lanes. They have the Rise, they have the Shin, so there was more versatile options in terms of how they want to play the map. They simply didn't opt into it.
They kept trying to team fight them when the Flash Wolves clearly were a side lane global composition. You use your globals for that, not for team fighting. And so you look at the gold grab, even though the Flash Wolves seemed like they were in control, it was the Misfits that kept that gold relatively even up until that Baron point where they just blew the game wide open.
To me, though, this game just continues to illustrate why Flash Wolves can still be a very scary team in this group, right? They've still managed to build early leads against many teams. And if just one time they manage to close it out, right? If the chips fall in their favor in one team fight and they take a game off of either WE or TSM, that could spell disaster for one of those teams in terms of making it towards the quarterfinals.
Just seems like a curse. They curse to win, like curse to lose, I guess.
Yeah, I guess it's not a curse you want. Definitely here on the world stage. Misfits Gaming started the day with a win. For more, let's head over to Shox and hear from their jungle.
Thank you very much, guys. I'm here with Maxlor after Misfits get yet another win, this time over the Flash Wolves again, and no Ardent Sensor support, not being able to get that snowball going early. It wasn't looking too good. What did it come down to? How did you guys turn it around in the end, Maxlor?
Honestly, I felt like we were not being proactive at all in this game. We were like really scared. It was kind of annoying in game to be playing a tank, and we were playing really scared. I was trying some Eager ultimates, but Tristana's just too broken. So against Gragas, I'm joking. They were pretty bad. I could have been better. So we just weren't working as a team really well, and then like we started like sharpening up at like 25 minutes, and then we just went to Baron and did the UOL and we won the game.
Did the UOL, I guess it worked out for you. You throw the group into even more disarray, I would say. Flash Wolves is now completely eliminated, so it's becoming a 3-horse race. Last week, not that many people might have believed in Misfits. Now they really have to. So can you tell me about your own expectations going forward today?
I think if we play better early game and play more proactively, we can make it to the quarterfinals. If we play the same as we did at the beginning of this game, it's going to be really rough, and we'll rely on like mid-late game shot calling or like team fighting or something like this way more than we should. Like if we play an early game composition, we should be able to execute it, right? So we don't want to be restricted in draft to how we play. And yeah, hopefully we can put out the wins for Europe.
Hopefully. So finally, a lot of bets going on with you. The one that I want to talk about is the one for the chicken nuggets. So I mean, can't you just go get some chicken nuggets? Why would you have to go that far to get them from your coach?
It tastes more beautiful when someone buys you something and gives it to you. It's like when you make your own food, right? If I just go and buy my chicken nuggets, it's like, an average day at the office, right? But my coach buying me 100 chicken nuggets, like, that's motivation right there. That's gonna make me try hard, So congrats to him for finding my motivation.
Fantastic way to look at life and friendships and all that. Really inspirational. Chicken nuggets. Thank you so much, Max or Misfits with another win on the books. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, TWE versus TSM. Don't go anywhere.
Okay, so listen up. Last week we played really good. No fears slogan, but today we just say scream fighting, okay? We'll win this game for sure.
Over on to Maxlor, very, very low. Also on the bot side, Ignar has to flash over the wall, and looks like Misfits doesn't want everything about this just yet.
I stand the ball! Jump it!
Awesome initiation, Hansam right in the middle of it, instantly deleted by Maple.
Jarvan's flanking left side.
I'll cover Jarvan. Fighting. I'll cover Jarvan. Rakan.
Played on the rocket jump. That's what he's been looking to do all game. Ignar coming out with the thresh pick. That's 3 down for Misfits. For Flash Wolves as Misfits close the door on the Flash Wolves world run.
Shut down. Aced.
Hello, Twitch. You've spent your entire lives watching others play games. Now it's time to play one of mine. The rules are simple. Watch this video and tell others about what you see. I'll be waiting for you.
It's Jigsaw.
The truth will set you free.
This is not gonna end well.
Jigsaw, rated R, October 27.
Only you can shower. To smell unique. To smell confident. To smell amazing. You got something. Smell like the best you with Axe U Body Wash.
Hey, Vaughn! Vaughn! Got a sec? What's up, folks? I found this in your locker. Coach, I'm delicate.
Every team prepares to win. But when U.S. Army soldiers take the field, it's best if the other guys don't bother showing up. See if you have what it takes at goarmy.com/team.
Where's Frank? It's league night. Save money on motorcycle insurance with Geico going up the country, ball without me. Frank.
Geico Motorcycle. Great rates for great rides.